Corley, and I'm the Director of Technology for Learning at the Leo Academy Trust. Further to our previous training session, this video is going to cover Google Jamboard and provide you a bit of an overview of how Google Jamboard can help with your teaching and how the resource can be used within school. As with most of the Google tools, there's an app and there's also a web-based interface. So I'm going to start by just demonstrating the web interface, and I'm going to jump over to the app because there is slightly more functionality within the app. But to start with, I'm just doing Google Chrome browser here, but this, you could use any browser on any device, Windows, computer, or Chromebook, a laptop, etc. So I'm just going to go to jamboard.new, and then this will open up a brand new Jamboard, or as they refer to them, a new Jam. Okay, that's taken a while to load. I also haven't had one open, so I'll just go here because it'll be quicker. So this is kind of like your interface. So up here, I can just give my work title, or give my task a title. So I might just say English lesson. Okay, I can set a background if I wanted to. If you want some squares, or if you want some dots, or a color, then you can do all of that. I tend not to be honest, so I'll just keep mine white. And also I can clear the frame, so if I want to just completely start from scratch, I can just wipe it all. If I want more than one page, or a frame as they're referred to in Jamboard, I can just press next, and that'll create a frame. And then here, it'll give me a summary of my pages so far. But I'm going to delete that just for now. And I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to sorry, I just totally lost track. So before I get into the tool, I'm just going to show you some of the admin type bits. So up here on the right hand side, I can rename it, I can download it as a PDF, I can save the frame as an image, so a frame is just effectively each slide. I can remove, or I can make a copy. They do exactly what they say on the tin. So obviously make a copy just duplicates it, remove, deletes it, downloads each one as an image, download the whole thing as a PDF, rename it. But as with all the G Suite tools, I can share it. So I can say that people can edit my document. So here I'm giving Rachel permission. She can either just view it or she can edit it. Okay, so you can do this kind of real-time collaboratively. And I've seen it being used really well as a kind of idea collection tool. Just a question there, and people can add and put their own comments on. So I'm now just going to go into the few tools there are. And I say few tools as a kind of good thing, because I think it's really simple, because it's got the key bits you need without all of the sort of extra tasks. So here we go. I've got my pen tool, and I've got a pen, I've got sort of a marker, a highlighter, and a brush, and I've got some colors here. So I'm on a touchscreen device, so I can just use my finger. So I'm just writing on it. If you're not writing on it, if you haven't got a touchscreen device, you can use a mouse, but it's actually really hard. Sorry, that's awful writing. It's really hard to write with a mouse. So, but there's that tool. And then if I wanted to do a highlighter, I can do various bits and pieces, and I can change the colors, etc. Now, it might be actually you've made a mistake. So the rubber does exactly what you'd expect it to do, just rubs it out. I'm just going to clear the frame now just to speed it up for you. The select tool means you can select an asset. So for example, if I wanted to put some writing in, I could say, what makes effective learning? And again, I can change the colors. That's quite useful if you want to classify things, if you want to put everything about one topic in one color. So maybe questions always yellow, and it puts it there. And then if that's too small, I can just make it really big. I don't know why you'd ever want it that big. Or you can make it a sort of a reasonable size there. Okay, and if this is collaborative, I could share this with lots of people, and everyone could put ideas on. So they might say the key to effective learning is inclusion. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake. They might say inclusion, and then someone else might say, no, the actual key to learning is pupil and teacher relationships. But then someone else might say it's actually about planning, or it's about, I don't know, CPD and professional development. And this is just me typing them, but you can imagine if you had sort of 100 people on here, you get get loads of ideas. And then the other thing you can do is you can just make them bigger. So actually, if lots of people think this is really important, then you could say this is huge. And if actually no one really agrees it's about inclusion, that could become quite small. The other thing you can do is you can just have all of these lined up, and then you could just ask people to annotate them. So you could say, actually, just put a tick next to the ones that you think are really pertinent, and someone might go that one, and then say, I don't actually think that's that important, just cross that out. So that's quite useful if you lots of people working on it, and then you can put questions in there. So that's the sticky note tool. You can add images in. So I'm just going to search for a random picture of a classroom. Actually, that might be a nice one. So you could put that in the middle of your jam, and you could just ask people just to annotate around. What's your reaction to this picture? And you might say, boring. Sorry, that's really poor writing. I would say it's better on paper, but my handwriting is pretty boring, pretty rubbish across the board. So you could annotate that, or you could just use a sticky note and say bland. And then someone might put that there, or someone might say it looks like an exam type situation. So they might change the color. They might want pink, and they could just sort of annotate it here. And over time, you can see how you'd start to build up quite a collection. You can also duplicate these as well. So if you perhaps wanted another one exactly the same size, you could just put it there and say, as a follow-up question, perhaps, how do you know? And then you could duplicate it one more, and I hope that fits in that gap there nicely. Oh, it does, perfect. And then you could have how will this help us as an organization? So you could have multiple questions on there if you wanted to, and you could change the color of this. And you could say, can you reply to the green question with green post-it notes, and can you reply to the orange question with orange post-it notes? So you can also add an image from you can upload it from your computer. So here's one I was sort of making earlier. So let me just upload that from my computer, and that could go just there, completely unrelated to what we've just been talking about. But you can upload an image. You've also got a laser pointers. So if you're sort of doing a remote lesson or you're teaching children remotely, you can circle it. Say, right, I want you to look at this point. I want you to look at this point, and I want you to look at this point, and kind of come back to that. And then it just gives them that kind of direction of where they were going. So that's really Jamboard within the app. You can have, I think, up to 100 pages on a Jamboard. And my view is, if you've got more than 100 pages in a lesson, that's a pretty long lesson. Or you've just got, perhaps you have one file for the whole half term, but you can have up to 100 on here. You can zoom in, zoom out, zoom to 50%. It's quite useful if you want to take a screenshot. You can just get a nice screenshot of that size. But I suspect most people will probably keep it on 100%. And then you can undo. I think we talked about that. Okay, so that's the Jamboard web interface. I'm now going to just jump into the Jamboard app and kind of go over some bits here that I think are useful, and a lot of it is similar. So I won't sort of repeat bits we haven't talked about here before. So pen, again, the same, choose colors. Assistive drawing tools. This is quite exciting. So this is where you can draw, and it predicts what you're trying to draw. So say, for example, you try and draw a circle, and you might go, it will automatically do that. Or if you're trying to draw a square or a rectangle. Sorry, I stopped recording mid-flow there, so there might just be a slight glitch where you just heard where I've stopped and restarted. So we were just talking about the shape drawing tool and the fact that the shape drawing tool can draw shapes for you. So there you go. Another part of the assistive drawing tool is writing. So if your handwriting's not a strength of yours, or you want it to, you want it to be in a kind of print, you can use this. So let's try. Let's say. There you go. Just saw someone walk past my window, so it's prompted me to say person. And it's fairly good, even without the sort of the best of handwriting. So if I did it really quickly. So So yeah, so that's obviously rushed. Let me see if I do it really, really unclear. Okay, that was meant to say cow, so maybe that was a slightly stretch too far. But it's pretty good at writing, converting what you're writing into text. Obviously, handwriting is still a skill, so this isn't trying to imply that we should replace handwriting. But sometimes there's a time and place for just using a Jamboard on an interactive whiteboard, writing, and it converts it into speech for you, into text for you. And the last thing just to show is the assistive drawing tool. So this is where you can draw something and it sort of tries to work out what you're trying to draw and then give you a kind of an icon. So if I give an example of that, so say I'll try and draw a face, and then here we go, it's suggested I might like to be drawing that. So that's one. So let's just move that there. Let's just get rid of this that I didn't mean to draw. And then let's go back to my assistive drawing tool. Perfect. And then let's say I'm trying to draw, I don't know, like a mobile phone. This could be a tricky one because that's not particularly clear what I mean. No, okay, so it didn't like that. So maybe, I mean, to be fair, I look at that and I think it doesn't really look like a mobile phone, does it? But it has come up with a calculator, which I suppose I'll give it credit for because it probably looks more like a calculator than the phone. You can do everything. You can do like a globe I've seen before. Yeah, so something like that. That wasn't a globe, I appreciate, but the idea is there. So if you're not a great drawer, it can work that out. Cat, I've seen. This is probably more telling you about my my drawing ability than that. So we might have a cat if we scroll long enough. Maybe not. Maybe it's because I didn't put a face on it. See if we put a face on. Okay, now it looks more like I'll take spiders, to be fair. I'll take that. So there you go. So just the assistive drawing tool just helps to give you kind of royalty-free just images for common things. So that's the assistive drawing tool. So just you've got the writing, you've got the shapes, and you've also got the assistive drawing. You've also got rubber, just like with a web interface. A few other bits and pieces. You can add drive content in here. So say, for example, you've got something in your Google Drive that you want to import. Let's just see an example. That's actually an example of just a photo of some Moroccan money. But there's my picture there. So if I can, obviously I can do whatever I want to do with that, make it bigger, make it smaller, annotate it, etc. I can take a photo from my camera. So if I look at my webcam camera on my Chromebook, just press go. That'll do. And then I can also put that in. And I can also take images from an image library. So if I have something on my computer, it will display all of the images that are possible from there. So if you've got photos from a trip or something like that, you can just import them really easily. And then of course stickers. So these are just sort of templates. So if you wanted a speech bubble, you can make that bigger and you could write in that. Again, similar to the assistive drawing tool, really. Or if you wanted a symbol to next steps, there's a finger to point to give some help, you can do that. And then as before, you can just go on to next, onto a new page, etc. Same features as before. Add people to allow people to collaborate. Share the jam as a PDF, images, add it to your starred in Google Drive, make a copy, rename, delete, etc. So that's just the app interface called Jamboard. It's a free one to install on, so this is on a Chromebook at the moment. It does have slightly more functionality in the interface than the web interface does. Yeah, that's Jamboard. It's really, really straightforward. My advice is just go and play for 5, 10, 15 minutes on it. And I think you'll get an idea and see how that could be used for your teaching on a daily basis. Hope that helps. And if there are any questions, please do just get in touch.